November 30th, 2023, last day of the month. I woke up from my nap and had this nice dream that I wanted to record, make a note of here. So I found myself having a nice visit with Elizabeth Clare Prophet on the inner. And it was an unusual visit, so I thought I'd record it, where she was explaining to me that sometimes taking a nap is a good idea, but sometimes when she was in physical embodiment, she had taken quite an extended nap and retreated to the inner realm. And one time she slept, perhaps waking periodically, but she took a long sleep for 10 straight days. And it rejuvenated her. And it seemed to give the body such a good rest that it was able to do some cleansing energy-wise, but, because it was so restful. And so as she was explaining that to me, we were surrounded kind of in this cloud-looking substance that I realized where we were at was actually, we were laying in this cloud that was, part of it was actually sheet material, like kind of a cream-colored bedding material. And so we were resting in this cloud, cozy place, talking, but I moved to see, and I'm like, is this really happening? And I moved my hand to see if she was really there. I could see her face and all this, but I peeked underneath a piece of this sheet to see if her feet were really there, and they were. And I looked at them and I go, wow, she has really pretty feet. It was a really interesting experience because it was so real-like. It was so real-like, and yet we were in our etheric form. So as I looked at her feet, my gaze went up to her eyes, and I leaned forward over the blankets, and I said into her eyes deeply, "Do you remember me?" And so our eyes met, and we started recalling previous lives that we had together on Earth, where we were in these relationships of positions of where she was Queen Elizabeth and I was Marie Antoinette. Now there was a confusion on that after she passed away, where there was devotees reporting that she indeed was Marie Antoinette. The conflict in that is that Elizabeth actually said she was Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth, and that her cousin in that life was Marie Antoinette. And, for me, that made sense because that was the record, the karmic record that I'd been shown for my own soul. But after, it shows when a person leaves this world, the things that people recall or say or change about our life or various things, it can even be as much as changing what, you know, life we were in a previous life, and on and on. So the point of the dream is, who am I? When I looked in her eyes, we bridged in our memory of going back in a pure state consciousness experience, because when Elizabeth Clare Prophet was in front of me back in the 70s during one of the conferences I went to, actually probably the first one, she was experiencing a Kundalini awakening. And she spoke to me, she called me by my name, we'd never been introduced. And we had this close rapport where neither one of us wanted to stop. The line behind me was pushing and I had to go. But I knew what she was experiencing because I had experienced something similar to what she was experiencing, where she could read people's thoughts and consciousness beyond just what came out of, them telling you their name or whatever. It's like she already knew it. She already knew their record, their soul frequency, and, where they were at on the path as a teacher. She was experiencing that in that Kundalini awakening moment, which you can have more than one of with different intensity, but that particular expression of Kundalini awakening is where you can literally hear the thoughts of other people, or even at a distance, people's messages reach you. And so during your lifetime, these things come like waves, some with more intensity than others. The point is to surrender to the gifts as a gift, but not as something to become attached to, and to live your life in a balanced, grounded fashion. As an example, like Lahiri Mahasaya lived his life in India as Yogananda's spiritual teacher. He gave this example of balanced lifestyle where he was literally Babaji's disciple in the Himalayan mountains. And Babaji gave him Kriya Yoga to bring to Yogananda, who then brought it to the Western world. This dispensation, this very guarded yogic technique of raising the energies up the spine and back up through the top of the head, and the figure eight flow in a intense inner fire experience of God's light, for anchoring light in this world. But this is a dream that I just wanted to share, because we do have dreams and sometimes we remember portions of them, and maybe it's important. Maybe it's important to mention that we do have these very personal relationships with souls who we've been in this life with or other lives, that carries on even into the inner realms after we leave this world, and hopefully we ascend at the end of this life, because the world is taking a turn, going for a lot of changes. All right, that's this dream.